Have you ever had that feeling like you're sitting at the dinner table, maybe after a crazy day, and everyone's there, but it's like their minds are somewhere else?
Yeah.
Phones are out. Everybody's lost in their own little world,
Mm-hmm.
almost like those ships passing in the night,
Hmm.
So close, but not really connecting.
Right, right. Like you're together, but you're missing that genuine connection, that feeling of being truly seen.
Exactly. And that feeling, that sense of disconnection, even when we're physically present with each other, is something that a lot of us are struggling with these days, which is what makes this book so fascinating.
Yeah, the book you gave me, Missing Each Other, it really dives deep into this whole idea.
It does.
Uh,
And for this deep dive, we focused on the foreword and the first chapter, which really lay the groundwork for this concept they call.
yeah. Yeah, and in English, it's translated as attunement. It's all about how we respond to others, how we build those meaningful relationships, the ones that actually feel good, not just the ones that are just there.
Right. And for everyone listening, I think it's important to clarify right away that understanding attunement isn't about suddenly becoming super social or always being the loudest person in the room.
No, not at all.
It's about something much deeper. It's about the quality of our connections, both the ones we already have and the ones we want to build in the future.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that every interaction has the potential for a real connection, for something meaningful.
Okay, so let's break this down. What exactly is attunement?
At its core, attunement is the ability to be aware of your own internal state, your thoughts, feelings, physical sensations, while simultaneously being present and connected to someone else. So it's like a two-way street. It's about being in tune with yourself and then using that self-awareness to really tune in to the other person.
I see.
It's like building a bridge between your inner world and theirs.
That makes sense. It's like a foundational social skill that underpins all our relationships.
Exactly. And the book starts off with a really powerful example, a story about the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
So in the foreword, they talk about how the Dalai Lama has this remarkable ability to be fully present and attentive in every single interaction he has.
Wow.
And people who've met him, even briefly, describe this feeling of being completely seen and heard by him.
That's incredible.
Yeah, they even use the word miraculous to describe his way of connecting with others.
Miraculous, huh? That's a pretty strong word.
It is. But when you think about it, for him to be meeting so many people, yet still manage to make each person feel like they are the only one that matters in that moment, that's pretty special.
Yeah, it really makes you think about our own interactions, How often are we truly present with the person in front of us?
Right. And let's be honest, we're constantly bombarded with distractions, especially with technology these days. Our phones are always buzzing, we're checking emails, scrolling through social media, and it's hard to fully focus on the person we're with.
It's true. We're so used to multitasking that we've forgotten how to single task, how to simply be present with another human being.
Yeah, and the book points out how this constant distraction and the pressure to always be on are contributing to a growing sense of loneliness and disconnection in our society.
It's interesting because we're more connected than ever before through technology, yet we're also more isolated.
Exactly. There's a real paradox there.
They even cite a study in the book that found that over half of adults in the U.S. feel like no one truly understands them.
Yeah, that statistic is pretty alarming.
It is. So for those listening, why should you care about this idea of attunement? Why does it matter in your own life?
Well, the benefits of cultivating attunement go way beyond just feeling good in social situations. It really touches upon so many aspects of our lives.
How so?
For starters, when you're more attuned to yourself and others, you can build deeper and more fulfilling relationships.
That makes sense.
And it can help you navigate conflict more effectively because you're better able to understand the other person's perspective. It can also lead to more productive collaborations in the workplace, better teamwork, because everyone is on the same page and feels heard.
So it's not just about our personal lives. It also impacts our professional success.
Exactly. And I think ultimately attunement helps us live more meaningful and fulfilling lives overall.
It sounds like it. So the goal of this deep dive is to really unpack this concept of attunement and its importance and to give you, the listener, some tools to start cultivating it in your own life.
Yes, and the book does a great job of outlining some practical strategies and exercises to help with that.
Exercises. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, they delve into mindfulness techniques, meditation practices, even the practice of Tai Chi.
That's really interesting. We'll definitely have to explore that further in future episodes.
Absolutely.
Now, in the first chapter, they introduce 4 key components of attunement. Can you briefly outline those for us?
Sure, they are. Relaxed awareness, listening, understanding, and mutual responsiveness.
Okay, let's break those down one by one. What do they mean by relaxed awareness?
Well, it's about being present in the moment without any unnecessary tension or judgment. It's about noticing your own thoughts and feelings without getting carried away by them.
So it's kind of like a state of mindfulness.
Exactly. And it's the foundation for the other components because you can't really listen or understand someone if you're not fully present.
That makes sense. And what about listening?
It's about truly hearing what the other person is saying, not just waiting for your turn to speak. It's about paying attention to their words, their tone of voice, their body language.
It's about going beyond just the surface level and really trying to understand what they're communicating.
Exactly. And that leads to the next component, understanding.
Right.
This is where you try to see the world from the other person's perspective, to empathize with their feelings and thoughts.
Even if you don't agree with them.
Even if you don't agree with them, it's about recognizing that their perspective is valid, even if it's different from yours.
I see. And finally, mutual responsiveness.
This refers to the back and forth flow of communication that happens when both people are engaged and attuned to each other. It's that feeling of being in sync, of truly connecting.
So like a dance.
It is like a dance. It's about being responsive to the other person's cues, both verbal and nonverbal, and adjusting your own communication accordingly.
I like that analogy. So these 4 components, relaxed awareness, listening, understanding, and mutual responsiveness, they all seem interconnected.
They are. You can't really have one without the others. It's a holistic approach to communication and connection.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive so far. We've explored the concept of attunement, its importance, and the challenges we face in achieving it in our modern world.
And we've touched upon the 4 key components that can help us cultivate this crucial skill.
So as we start to wrap up, let's recap those key insights that stood out.
Yeah, for you, we began by acknowledging that genuine connection is vital for our well-being, but it's something that often feels out of reach in our busy lives.
And we talked about how that feeling of ships passing in the night really highlights the pervasive issue of disconnection, something that even statistics back up.
Right. We also explored how technology and the constant pressure to be productive can make it even harder to be truly present with each other.
And for me, what stood out was that attunement isn't just this vague, feel-good concept. It's a fundamental social skill that impacts every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. And the book offers a hopeful perspective that it's a skill we can all develop and strengthen through practice.
Those 4 components, relaxed awareness, listening, understanding, and mutual responsiveness. They give us a concrete framework to work with.
Yes, and it's important for you to remember that these components work together. They're not isolated steps.
Right. So for you, the listener, the next step is to start reflecting on your own experiences.
Yeah, think about those times when you felt truly connected to someone and compare them to those times when you felt disconnected. What was different?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What could you have done differently in those moments to create a deeper sense of connection?
Absolutely. And the good news is attunement isn't a fixed trait. It's something we can all cultivate and improve upon.
The book offers some intriguing suggestions for how to do that through mindfulness, meditation, and even Tai Chi.
Yeah, that connection between our physical and mental well-being and our ability to connect with others is fascinating.
It is. And there's an attunement quiz in the appendix, which could be a helpful tool for self-assessment.
Definitely. It can give you some insights into your own strengths and areas for growth when it comes to attunement.
So as we close out this deep dive, here's a final thought for you to ponder. In a world that's increasingly dominated by digital interactions, where genuine presence often feels like a luxury, could the quality of your in-person interactions, your ability to be truly attuned to those around you, be the most valuable and underappreciated skill you can cultivate?
It's a powerful question to consider. And if genuine connection starts with understanding yourself and truly seeing others, what small shift could you make in your next interaction to foster a deeper sense of attunement? Imagine how consciously practicing this skill can not only transform your personal relationships, but also ripple outward, creating a more connected and compassionate world.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into missing each other. Until next time.
Take care.